right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Power Black Man. I am Jay Field, your host. Got my guy Darius Godwin, man. I haven't seen this guy in forever. Mr. Entrepreneur, money man, mindset coach, fitness guy, man, everything across the board. What's going on, boss man?
What's up? What's up, man? Like, again, it's good to see you, man. Good to connect with you. And thanks for having me on. Honored to be here. And, man, excited about all you're doing as well. So thanks for including me in the movement.
No, not a problem at all. Appreciate it, man. Look, man, you already know we went to Vans together, man. It's been, we ain't going to talk about how long it's been. It's been a minute.
A minute, yeah.
It's been a minute, man. But, I left Vans. Went up to High Point, then moved up to Maryland, then moved to Cali, man. What about yourself, man? What was life for DG after Vans?
Yeah, so I went to NC State here in Raleigh. I'm currently in Raleigh right now. I'm working on transitioning back to Charlotte, but went to I finished out Advanced, went to NC State. I did my 4-year stint there. And then I actually moved to Indianapolis in 2011. Once I graduated, I was there for about 5 years, launching out into starting the IT career. And then I moved back to here in Raleigh, still for another role in IT. And was it 2016? Yeah, around 2015, 2016. So I've been here ever since. So it's about a 5-year, every 4 to 5 year range. So it's time to make that move again. But that's pretty much, a quick blast of kind of where I've been. So yeah, I'm still here in NC.
Okay. Well, NC State, why there, man? You got Duke around there, you got Chapel Hill, man. Why NC State?
Yeah, so honestly, man, I was looking at scholarships to go play ball actually to a couple of HBCUs, and I was really set on Hampton and South Carolina State. But man, State hit me up and they were talking about financial consumption for academics. So, me and Pops had to sit down and he was like, hey, look, we going to the NFL or we, you know what I mean? And both my parents are NC State alum as well. They wanted me to choose my own path also, but, I was familiar with the area. State had a great program in the business IT field that I took that realm. They also have a great engineering program. So I just had a great experience, a great visit. And man, it was one of the best decisions I could have made.
Did you pledge?
No, I did not.
No,
I did not pledge. No, sir. I did
really?
not pledge. Not my thing. Got shout out respect to everybody that did. Most of my roommates did. I think one of my roommates, you probably remember Dennis Rankin. He went to Vance.
Yeah.
Dennis was my roommate for like 3 years, 3 or 4 years there. And Dennis is actually out West Coast now.
Really?
Now. Yes. We'll chop it up after, but I need to link you up. Dennis D is out there, man. He's writing iOS apps and stuff. But yeah, I need to link you up. But yeah, man. So it was just it just worked out. I ended up having family there too. So I mean, it's almost like going to Vance again, but on a college level. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's dope, man. Actually, I know a lot of people actually end up going to NC State, so that's hilarious, man. So let's get into this next question. IT, you go from IT to fitness. Now we all know the fitness, industry is booming. Everybody seems like they're trying to be a fitness coach, and I'm not trying to
Nah, that's real. That's real.
Fitness coaches out here, man. But you go from IT. Be a fitness coach. Obviously, you're all over the gram, lifting, showing your guns, showing the girls the goods and everything, man. How did you get started into fitness? Why did you get started into fitness? And why did you leave the IT world to be, the full-time fitness coach and money mindset guy that you are?
Yeah, so so my passions have always been computers and sports. And I always promised myself, even at a young age, even around the time we knew each other, was that, man, I don't want to be the person that has to choose one track to be successful. So I knew I had the nerdy side, knew I had the athletic and love for sports and fitness side. So since I was in the corporate world now, I still had that itch, right, that I had to scratch from a sports perspective. So, and I enjoy youth, like I played, my dad was my coach growing up, and then I had mentors as my coach growing up. So that's actually how the fitness started. And I actually started fitness officially as a side business in 2012, in Indianapolis. And I was training youth athletes all the way to professional athletes, speed and agility, sports performance type training. So that's where what was called SPAC Sports Performance then is now King Bear Fitness now. It's still the same entity, just a different name. So I've been training since 2012. It was something I did on the side as a means to stay involved in the athletic world. I love sports. I love empowering other people, but I also was an avenue that I used to actually fuel my debt-free journey as well. IT's always keep it bands always gonna be, not always, but it's been the cash cow, and that, that source of income that I could use to fuel to do other things that I like to do, and that stability. But I still believe in building, my own vision. So fitness was that, and then I transitioned it from youth sports and semi and professional training to more of the lifestyle coaching when I moved back to NC. So I've been in the game for a while. The challenge for me was I started competing in natural bodybuilding. So that was a way to challenge myself and a way to keep that competitive edge, right? Not playing sports anymore, not doing anything like that. So that was another thing to just challenge me, challenge the mindset, and challenge the body. And of course, you're your brand, right? You are your own marketing piece. So not only did it help me from a personal level, but it also helped me to grow my business as well.
No, that's dope, man. Side question, where are you trying to take this?
So right now I got a online fitness app right now. So I was doing a lot of in-person training. COVID actually forced me to grow that vision into just being more of an online presence now, which has allowed me to reach people all over the US. And social media is wild and crazy now, but really my vision has always been I want to have a facility where half or part of it is dedicated to a creative IT space, and then the other half is dedicated to, your training, your sports performance. That's like big goal vision. But again, just really continuing to build that community and empowering people, because my vision is really that to show people and youth that you don't have to just be an NBA or NFL player. You don't just have to be a doctor, astronaut, etc. You can actually be a little diverse and be successful in both.
No, I love that, man. That's awesome. So, obviously last couple of years, there's been a lot going on, obviously with, cop shootings and stuff like that. I can't speak for every Black male, but my brain was completely fried just to see, some of the African-American males, go away and stuff like that. In sense of fitness and, consulting and mindset coach type stuff, man. Like what are some things you believe that could be helpful for Black men, to kind of ease our brain, to kind of maybe take our frustration out in the gym, which is kind of almost like a double benefit when you're losing weight or gaining muscle, whatever the case may be. What are some advice or some things you can think of?
I would say from the fitness thing, because I'll speak to what I live in, fitness has helped me manage a lot of that. Yes, you get the aesthetic, physical benefits of that, but from a mindset standpoint, I mean, man, I'm in such a euphoria and a refreshed mindset when I'm done training, So I use that as an outlet as well. And so for other people, I mean, that accountability, you start to meet people, you start to have a community there. And, I have a community that's a kind of a Black fit fam community as well, where yes, our commonality is that we love to train, but it allows a space for us to be able to share those thoughts as men about what's going on in society and support each other, one to another. And also to realize like, okay, I'm not actually going through this by myself. Like my brother's feeling this as well. So that's what fitness has provided for me. And in a way it is kind of a therapy also, because that community that you build. So, I think for us is, of course, taking care of your finances is huge, because that's a tool and power that's just a playing field, right? Your health, is another means to kind of managing the stress that we just naturally have to take on because of who we are, unfortunately. And then when you kind of put those two things together and have that community, man, it just shows you that you're not in it alone, and you have that space to be able to express safely, which is a lot of what's been taken from us, the ability to express safely, because we're always taken as aggressive or in a negative light. So I think being able to be in those spaces keeps you accountable, keeps you grounded, and allows you to keep fighting the battle, right, every day, versus just feeling like you're only doing it by yourself.
No, man, I love that, man. Let's kind of side question. Let's get kind of back to the whole King Bear, man. Like, where'd that come from? Why King Bear?
Yeah, great question. So Bear is a nickname from back when I was in school, back when I was in college, kind of came my household name. And then the King, man, as you know, you're a man of valor as well, but kingship is same to leadership, right? And not being above and people beneath, but just being able to be in leadership. And leadership, I think, always starts with serving first, right? So being able to serve as well. So I just put that together because it's just the energy, that's the name I was known for. And then just the king, adding the king to it is just, just really trying to set that standard. Everything I'm trying to do, I'm trying to set a standard, not to, like I said, be above or beyond someone else, but set a standard that other people can look to, that can work towards and work in to be successful. So, yep.
No, man, that's dope. And since you're a fitness coach, let's talk about Black men. And we briefly talked about it before, but Black men have the shortest lifespan, man, amongst almost anybody. Partially because of diabetes, cancer, or whatever. Because a lot of times we eat the wrong stuff. Nutrition is horrible these days. There's no telling if it's chicken or beef for real.
I don't know what it is, right? And then they slap an organic stamp on it.
They got the USD organic stamp, man. So because statistically, Black men have shorter lives, man. What are some healthy, easier ways to eat? Especially the dads that are on the go, the husbands that are on the go. Maybe entrepreneur. Maybe they're single, but they're entrepreneurs, and they're being that entrepreneur life, man. It's nonstop, man. What are some quick fitness material tools or drills that they can do, as well as some good nutritional healthy food that they can potentially eat?
Yeah, I say just be careful about being sedentary, right? You can be on the go, but being on the go doesn't mean that you're not sedentary, right? So you can be on the go, but you can be in meetings. You can be on the go, but you're in a plane. You're constantly being dehydrated because you're traveling. You're not. So keep your water up. First of all, keep your hydration up. I know people say that all the time, but you got to keep your hydration up. That can kill like 60 to 70% of the issues that you face. All right, dehydration, sleep deprivation, and it can help you with your hunger, right? And so if you help with your hunger, you're not going to be so apt to eat things that aren't the most nutritious and beneficial for you, right? So keeping your water up. Prepare as much as you can. We prepare for money, our business, what we're gonna wear. Prepare your food as much as you can, even when you're traveling. And if you're in entrepreneurship, you can partner with certain meal prep companies, different things like that. Even if they prepare 3 of your meals for the day, right? And you kind of fend for yourself on the other ones, that's huge, right? So going long periods without eating because we're grinding, we're focusing, that can be a detriment. So water. Have some preparation for your meals. I'm not saying you have to prepare 100 meals a day, and you might be on the go, you might not be able to do that, but set some type of plan in place to where you can grab and go healthy options. There's of course you're going to track your macros, track what you're doing. You might not have the time to kind of write down every detail, but another thing I say is like keep a log. Sometimes if you feel like you're not on it, keep a log of what you're eating for that day and review that, and then just optimize it, right? I'm not saying change your whole diet, optimize it. As far as movement, just try to 2 or 3 times a week is more than nothing, right? Even if you're picking a couple of days where you're getting a 20, 30-minute walk that can turn into a jog. Don't feel like you got to hit the gym 7 days a week just to be healthy, just to be active. That's not necessarily the case. It's all about what your goals are. And if your goals are to stay moderately healthy, I'd say 3 to 4 days of some type of physical activity, whether it's a mixture of cardio and resistance training or a walk or a jog or whatever. Like, it seems so simple, but you got to look at it. It adds up over time, right? 15 minutes a day, 3 times a week is 45 minutes. But then you times that by 4 weeks in a month, times it, that adds up, and that can kind of offset some of the ripping and run, maybe not being able to have the healthiest of options, right? Just continue to keep moving. That also helps with, like you said, some of the issues we have with sugar, blood pressure, those kind of things, because you want to keep the stress down. If you're just grinding, holding on to the stress, but you never have an avenue where you are able to express that stress, meaning in a physical sense, or you're also not intaking the right things, so you're also intaking things that are adding more stress to the body, it's a double whammy. So I would say just, stay moving, stay hydrated, try to plan as best you can to get your intake in. 3 to 4 days a week of some physical activity. I'm not even telling you 3 to 4 days a week to go to the gym. 3 to 4 days a week of some activity is great.
No, man, that's awesome, man. And what about the people that occasionally like to drink moderately or whatever the case may be, man? Like what are some things that they can take? Obviously hydration is always important, but water can only do so much. What are some suggestions that you could throw out there?
I would say it's just, you got to have a discipline too. I mean, just you got to be able to, you're going to have events, you're going to have things, you're going to have social life that you like to do, right? It's not in that lifestyle when you have a balance, it's not a this or that, it's a, hey, I can do it all, but I got to provide some type of balance. And as we know, balance isn't 50-50, right? So, you might have 2 days out of the week where you say, hey, like, these are the days where I'm going to consume alcohol, right? Or if you're doing something even daily, limit it to one drink, right? But it's far easier to say, hey, these are the 2 days or 2 times a week is when I have my drink, right? Versus trying to say, all right, I'm gonna drink every day, but I'm only gonna drink 8 ounces. That's probably not gonna happen, right? But just remind, and it doesn't have to be the same day, right? You might have certain events on different days and be like, all right, that's my one event that I had that, right? And then if you want to mentally set yourself in a pattern, hey, for every drink you do, there's little hacks like for every drink you do is 15 minutes of activity you need to do, right? So just try to find your groove. Everybody's different. So I dare not try to sit here and just give everybody, one template to follow, but even just having a baseline can go a lot further than having nothing at all.
No, that's great, man. All right, so no fitness, no IT, no football. If you can go back in time and give yourself advice back in Vance, back in high school, what would you tell yourself as far as advice? And then on top of that, what career path would you choose besides the ones that I mentioned earlier?
Excellent question, bro. So I love that question. So first of all, I would tell myself to be more strategic with that side hustle money I was getting, painting mailboxes, cutting grass, doing different jobs here and there. And it's under the table. It's not taxed. You know what I mean? Like, I would be more strategic instead of trying to get the latest J's, clothes, whatever, and actually save that money to be able to invest in something. And if I could have started with something else, if I were to go back, I love my path that I've taken so far, but if we're just hypothetically dreaming, I would say I would have gotten to a trade and then use that money to start investing in boring businesses. That's what I'm big on. Boring businesses, i.e. laundromats, vending, anything you can think of that provides a service that's considered a boring business, I would have did that. Or real estate. I mean, big time. I mean, and basically what I would have probably done was save that money, invested into an operating business or created an operating business that creates cash flow, right? No IT, no sports. Then use that cash flow to start to invest in assets, real estates, other options that are generating. So it's kind of been flipped. Like I did my first part, and now I'm really diving into more of the venture, the venture capitalist realm and buying small and operating businesses realm. So, I no regrets, but that's the advice I would give to someone if you're kind of starting fresh, like hustle, grind, but those shoes, I don't have them no more. Like, what did they do to me? Cool points for a second. Like, now I'm like, man, I could have had this, and this is like cool points forever, plus stability, time, freedom, and value, So.
Nah, man, that's awesome, man. Diving into a little bit more deeper questions, man. Obviously like I said, man, there's been a lot of stuff going on over the past couple of years. We've seen a lot of crazy stuff on the news, from the Donald Trump being president to, the whole 9 yards. But, you got more Latinos entering politics. You got amazing woman movement, which I love. Obviously I'm married and I got a daughter and another daughter on the way. So it's always great to see.
Congrats, man.
I appreciate it, man. It's always great to see, women having those opportunities. But at the same time, you also look at Black men. Black men are heavily incarcerated in prison. We're at the top of the food chain as far as being incarcerated in prison. Do you believe, and if you do believe, or if you don't believe, that Black men are kind of falling behind the 8 ball with everything kind of going on in the world?
So I would say visually it may look like that, but as Black men, I believe, man, we're a powerful force, even in small numbers. And I know everybody talks about trying to come together, and that can be a tough, I do feel like, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we're trying to eat each other, you know what I mean? But I have hope still, and I always will, as long as I'm breathing, because even if it starts with one, I do feel that our opportunities in the past have limited us, but I do feel that we have a lot more power now than we give ourselves. I'm not negating, I'm not turning a blind eye to some of the things that are still very frightening and disheartening that happen. But even with that, it doesn't steer me away from the belief that we have a lot more power to tap into, is really what I'm trying to say, to use. And we really could take over in small numbers. So, you know, it is unfortunate that we have to fight through so many hoops, and it feels like we're already starting. I feel like we start behind the eight ball. I should say that. I don't want to say we're getting behind. I feel like we start behind the eight ball, right? And I feel like now more than ever, we really do have the opportunity and the resources to take access to some of that power back. So that's just like I said, just my opinion. I'm not negating the facts. I hate some of the facts, and I know they're a reality, but we still, man, I feel like we have so much access to power and potential that we have yet to tap into. But once we do, it could be a real game changer.
No, I love that, man. Like I always tell people, man, there's really no right or wrong answer. Everybody has their own view and opinion on things. You know, it could be a negative response, it could be a positive response, however you take it. I think that's the biggest thing. Let me hit you with another one. It says, according to research from Statista.com, in end of 2019 year, there are about 2,000 Black men per every 100,000 people within the United States who are actually in state or federal prison in the U.S. Note, this does not include Black men that are in jails or Black men that are waiting for pretrial confinement, that are in pretrial confinement. With the understanding from this source, it says 1 of 3 Black men will spend time behind bars, compared to 1 out of 14 from their counterparts. What's your thoughts on that? Just to know that out of every 3 Black men you see, 1 of them probably spent time behind bars.
I can't even get the thoughts together, man. Like I said, that's disheartening as well. And it just adds fuel to the fire as well on, like you said, just about kind of being behind the eight ball. And it doesn't look like we're progressing forward, right? But yeah, I mean, that's the reality of it. That's statistics. You can't argue with the numbers, you know. That's the most I can say about it. You can't argue with the numbers. But I'm an optimistic type of guy. Like I said, I'm realistic as well, but I have to be optimistic, because me being pessimistic is not going to help us, you know, progress. So it's like, okay, how can we change those stats? And I know it's like, hey, it's only so much we can do, because even if I'm not doing nothing, I'm already guilty, right? You know, so it's like, what you mean? Like, bro, what you mean? I'm not even doing nothing. I'm in my own home sleep, or I'm just walking, or I'm going for a jog. You said I need to go for a jog to relieve my stress, right? Yeah. I can't even do that. So, you know, man, some things you just have to just try to embrace, man. You know, I don't argue with the stats, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, and like I always like to, we always have standard questions just to get different perspectives and understanding. You know, everybody comes from different backgrounds and stuff like that, man. Yeah. But, you know, for me, it's just like, it goes back to what you just said. There's always hope. There's always faith. You always got to find, you know, better ways or different avenues, or connect somehow, some way. And I'll even hit you with the next question. You know, for me is, how can we get more Black men focus groups, regardless of it's for health, regardless for education, for money, regardless of whatever the case may be? What are some ideas or thoughts that you feel like we can actually do? Because those statistical numbers, yeah, those are heartbreaking. You know, you know, I actually had a conversation, you know, slightly off record, I had a conversation with my wife yesterday, and I was just letting her know, man, like, I don't think people realize that when it comes to every race and every gender in this world, Black men probably have it the worst. Even if we come from privilege, we still got to work 2 to 3 times harder. So Black men are not coming from privilege. That's almost 6 to 7 times harder just to get close to exactly where our counterparts are.
And you say those were facts.
But however, like I said again, just like I asked you, the biggest thing that I don't see, and I'm not saying that it's not out there, because I do see some stuff out there, like 100 Black men and stuff like that. But even for 100 Black men, I just found that out back in 2017, and they've been around for almost 100 years. I had no idea. And stuff like that is what is hurting Black men, because we don't know. Right. We have no idea. And obviously, you know, we're masculine. We try to compete and all this other stuff. And, you know, which is great. That's just sometimes how we're raised by our fathers, or sometimes we don't have fathers. We don't have a father figure. But there has to be a better way to be able to really help especially the younger generation. So back to the question, man, what ways can we improve focus groups or get groups in general, networking events or whatever the case may be, so we can shed light on this, but not even on the negative stuff, finding ways that we can take that step forward and improve.
Yeah, I think, and people are doing it. You know, you got your EYLs, you got your, you got people that are building the communities, right? And I think, how we are, right? We like the flashy stuff. So I think, sometimes it's bringing people together, not to talk about initially the issues, but giving somebody game, right? Or teaching somebody how to access power or a tool, i.e. money, right? Teaching. And I feel like if you can start there, or also mindset. I'm big on mindset motivation. I'm big on youth, right? So I'm not saying that I can't reach people my age and our age and stuff, but I know that the youth, they're the light of the world. They're the future, right? So if I can get them while they're spongy enough, right, it can affect far more than I can do, necessarily with just me and you, right? Because they, if you can make certain things trending in their mindset, that's going to spread. So for us, I think as men, we're always going to have a battle of trying to get the pride block down, right? So I think having commonalities such as business, conversations like we're having now, or just saying like, hey, bro, like, I look like you. We go through the same stuff, by the way. You're not the only one that go through it. I think that's a lot of challenges that most of us as Black men have is we still are. Even the new age us, we're still a little like, nah, bro, I can't let nobody see I'm down bad, like yada yada. It's like, man, little do you know, just hey Jay, bro, this week sucked, bro. It's like, hey man, I actually went through that like 3 months ago. Let me tell you how I got through that.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes it starts with those one-on-one conversations and then creating a space where you can grow that. And people are trying. We're trying. This what you're building is amazing. Just even having those real conversations, getting brothers together. And I love how you're celebrating success. And I know most of the guys that you interview, they really built their success. Like you said, they've done this 6 to 7 times and they're not afraid to say, hey guys, I was where you were. This is how I got where I am. I hope maybe something from my journey can help you. So we just continue to have those conversations. I think we work better when we're kind of indirectly talking about something. So maybe it's bowling, maybe it's a sports night, maybe it's, not, hey guys, let's go talk about our problems, but like, hey y'all, let's go, let's go bowl. Let's go to this game and then we're going to chop it up and have something to eat after. And I think that's where things like the 100 men, that's where it starts, right? It's just getting together. But I know it's a tough challenge, man, but it's possible, it's possible. And I think guys are more receptive to it now because I think we're starting to find that like our women, they have outlets, they have brunch, they go on vacation, they get together. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just calling what it is. Other members outside of our race, they have outlets, right? And I feel like Black men now are really to the point where we're like, okay, what the heck is our outlet? You know what I mean? Even if it's a cookout and brews or the game on, right? But now we need to be more intentional about when we have those opportunities that we do take some time to like, all right, now that I got y'all here, we're going to at least talk for 15 minutes about what's up. I feel like a lot of times we come, we eat, we dine, we kick it together, but we don't ever get to the meat of really while we're together. And I think if we just be more intentional about some of those meetings that we already have, it could help a lot.
No, man, I love that, and that's actually. I mean, you said something that I didn't really pay attention to, before, man. Like we'll go watch a game at a bar, or we'll go do this, and yeah, I mean that's great and Danny and all to kind of relieve the stress and not think about too much, but at the same time, sometimes you got to, regardless of it's for 3 to 5 minutes, slip in a real conversation like, hey, how are we doing today? How are we doing this week, man? What's been going on mentally? You guys good? Because in all honesty, I've asked several guys that I know that are married or they were engaged or whatever the case. I'm like, hey, let me ask you this. And this was about a year and a half ago. Like, has your significant other, have they checked on your mental health? And they were like, nah.
What?
They were like, nah. And it just kind of like dawned them for a second. And we had deep conversations. And you'd be very surprised on what Black men really go through in their brain that we tend to suppress. But that's, obviously, like, that's where I wanted to talk to you about, even from a mental health standpoint, like fitness standpoint, Like that's not healthy, unfortunately. And I think those conversations need to be had, and even the stuff that you're doing, man, that stuff is empowering. I think that people tend to forget that there is more to life than just playing in the NBA or NFL. Like, you don't have to go that route. And I'm our last episode, we had a financial advisor on. You know how many Black men are thinking about being a financial advisor? Not that many. And that's the beauty of trying to find people in various different industries that are doing amazing things, that are empowered, that can let these younger men know, this younger generation, like, hey, I could be more than just the next LeBron James. Maybe I could be LeBron James in a different industry, what I mean, and take over that industry. But any advice, man, for this newer generation coming up, or just Black men in general, any advice that you can potentially lend all across the board?
Yeah, I'd say, like, here the cliche that mindset is everything. Fortify your mind, and not in a sense of, like you said, suppressing everything, but fortify your mind and who you are and what you want to do. Know that your identity is not dependent on what you see with your eyes, but it's about what you tell yourself in your mind, right? And especially on a positive sense. But also just to, find a few things you love and dedicate intent to them passionately. And what I mean by that is simply find a few things that you love. And I say a few because your passions will change over time, right? But find a few things that you love, because we've been blessed with many talents and gifts, not just one. And really focus on the craft. I've been on this focus on this craft mindset mentality, and I've seen so much benefit from that, because when you focus on your craft, everything else will be provided. And so for a young cat that's trying to find his way, like, don't limit yourself. No limitations. Whatever limits that have been placed in your mind, blow them away. Blow them away, So, fortify your mindset, focus on your craft of your passions, with intent, and just blow limitations away. Don't limit yourself, and don't tell yourself you can't do something. Like, if you really focus on it and you really believe that you can do it, I know if it's like, you do whatever you believe, but like, seriously, if you tell yourself, it's going to take me 10 years to do this, it's probably going to take you 10, maybe 20. But if you tell yourself, like, I could probably do this in 6 months, So I just say mindset is everything. Focus on your passions and don't look outwardly for your identity. Tell yourself what your identity is, So that's what I would say.
That's amazing. I love that, man. And before we wrap up, man, talk. Take 2 to 3 minutes and really talk to the people about yourself, who you are, your businesses, what you're doing, and promote your brand, man.
Yeah, for sure. So y'all know, like I said, I appreciate you guys even listening, and Jay had me on. Darius Godwin, King Bear. King Bear LLC is my company. I have a passion in empowering other people through fitness, finances, and mindset motivation. Like, that's what I'm about. And I don't give out medicine that I don't take first, or that I haven't taken first. From a financial standpoint, I'm really big on strategic financial management, having a plan. We don't like to call it a budget, but it is having a financial plan, because that's the map for everything that you do. And being strategic with your money. And when you do that, you can invest in things that'll grow wealth forward. And we talk about generational wealth building, which I'm big on, but I also want to enjoy wealth while I'm here as well. So, the other thing is, from a fitness standpoint, you don't have to be a bodybuilder. You don't have to be a, high grade professional athlete, but you can enjoy the wealth if you don't have the health, right? So, dedicate some time, because it's far beneficial for your mind state as well. To being healthy. And then, just from, like I said, from a mindset standpoint, continue to fortify your mindset with things that are going to empower you to get from point A to point B. KingBear100.com is my website. That's where you can find, I actually have courses on vending. I have Money Beast mindset coaching, and then soon we'll be launching the fitness site as well. But again, I'm here to assist and empower you guys to be successful through fitness, finances, and faith. King Bear 100 on Instagram is what Instagram is where I'm most active at. You can find me on there as well. And again, like I said, I'm here as a resource. my goal is that with the relentless grind, as you can see, the brand, if I can empower, one person a day for success in their life, then I'm fulfilling my purpose.
No, man, I appreciate it. Look, man, thanks for joining the show, dropping knowledge on, not just for young black men in general, or for any of the listeners out there, man, because knowledge is power.
Yeah.
Follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're on Spotify as well. It's Empowered Black Men. You can also send in any requests of people who you believe are an empowered black men to our email at empoweredblackmen@gmail.com. Appreciate the time, DG, man. Appreciate the love,
Yeah.
and hope to chop it up again, man.
I appreciate you, man. We'll be in touch offline, but I appreciate you having me, man, and look forward to all the great things you're doing as well.
Most definitely, bro. Stay blessed, bro.
All right, bro.
Yeah, man.